I am a Frenchman born in the Alps between Switzerland and Italy. I grew up in a middle-class family in which all materialistic things were provided. We were belonging with my sister and my parents to this consumer society. So we were living in a small house in a suburb of Chambéry in Savoie, and I was able to go to school. We had holiday time, we had vacation in the mountains or by the sea, and we were spending frequently the weekend going in nature, enjoying time to pick up some mushrooms or make a picnic or meet other part of the family. That was my life. I was able to study, and I was quite a good student, not an excellent one, but a good student, so that I studied biology and sciences, mathematics and physics and chemistry to be accepted in a school of agronomy. It's the equivalent of college in the English system. So I entered the school of Montpellier, the College of Montpellier in agronomy, and decided to specialize in socio-economy in Paris. I studied in this specialization the agricultural system, the agro-system of civilization around the world and through history, so that it allowed me to understand how every civilization was born, then grew up and developed, expand until it started to flourish and was the top point of the civilization before it started to decline and die, replaced by another civilization. So this study allowed me to understand deeply the transition we are living right now in our world, our global world, so that I can really see what is declining, what is collapsing, and what kind of new civilization is emerging. At that time also I embraced the challenge of my civilization. It was the time of Rio de Janeiro summit about environment, so that I realized that at that time the global world was becoming aware of the negative impact our way of living was creating upon the planet, with lots of pollution, with decrease of biodiversity, with forest destruction, with also global diseases, civilizational diseases we were facing. And all these challenges were part of my generation challenge. So that I get married at that time with a colleague agronomist, and together we gathered our Christian values and our intellectual understanding of the world, deciding with Gandhi to be the change we wanted to see in this world. So that instead of looking for a job after graduated, we decided to become volunteer with the Catholic Church. So we were sent in mission in extreme North Cameroon in Marwa for 2 years. And then there we helped for the development, for the improvement of the life of the population in the Mandara Mountains. When we came back, I decided to look for work in non-profit organization. I found one first in the headquarters in Paris of an organization of rural people. And then when I was accepted, finally I put my job after 3 months for consistency, as the family wanted to live in the countryside in a nice environment and warmer climate, so that we choose a place to live in Anjou, in the Pays de la Loire, west of France, south of Angers, in the Coteaux du Léon. It's an area of wine production, grapes and wine production. So that we settled there, renting a house with a little garden, and then I found a job in an organic growers organization where I worked for 2 years. At that time, we had quite a nice balance. When I was in Paris, I was going by train weekly, so my wife was alone with the children all the week long. But after, when I was working in the Organic Growers organization, I had a car to go to Angers daily, so that we were together each day at the end of the day. So it was quite a nice balance. We had a consistency in our lifestyle. We were living in family. I had an income, and we were purchasing organic products in a cooperative, an organic shop. And then we enjoyed our life together, and we had at that time already 4 children. So that it was nice until happened something uncommon in my life. One day I went to my office in Angers and discovered the building burned and the windows exploded, and I saw policemen in the office of my colleague, and immediately by intuition I had this knowledge, immediate knowledge of they killed him. So that I called my wife and I told her what happened, and I went back home. So we spoke together. I was very affected emotionally. But anyway, I started investigating, checking emails in the computers, and speaking with the inspector of police, and even meeting a medium to be in connection with the dead, so that it confirmed to me that it was a murder, an assassination. So that I quit my job and I centered in family life. We started to find a plan that was to run our own business. I was interested by a sensitive crystallization, a kind of analysis who allowed to make images of the vital forces inside all living substance. This is what I started, but the reality of our business has been that we get one client from Germany, but that's all, because it was quite specific. So we start the business before being obliged to pay charges and taxes to the government of France. So we stopped that, and at that time my wife was offered by her father some money, so that we were able, it was an opportunity we had to buy a next door property, and we bought it cash, 40,000 euros. At that time it was in 2002, and we used that for the laboratory. But when we realized it was not a good plan, business plan. We changed of plan. At that time, my wife was pregnant of the fifth child, and came to me the idea to turn to renovation, because the property we purchased was 50 square meters house with dependencies and garden, 2,000 square meters of property, and the plan has been to renovate the dependencies so that we can expand the superficie habitable. It was an old property of the era of the French Revolution with lots of stones and large walls. So it was very nice, and I did this work. At that time also, the children, the four children, expressed the desire to come back to home, because the elder one, he didn't want to write at school. He loved reading, but he didn't like writing. So we homeschooled them, and we started a new way of life. The parents were at home. We were living on our savings and also social aids. And the children came back home. So we were living all together and doing some courses and purchasing books to help the children study. And slowly, the homeschooling became no schooling or unschooling. We stopped formal things after over 1 year, because we had control by the inspection of academy. But after time, we stopped that, and we turned into real activities, the Maria Montessori system, so that the children were learning through life. So it became life schooling. They were learning through cooking together, or when I was doing some handwork, so they were learning how to measure, to count, and also because the parents, it's very important, because the parents were graduated, we had a university qualification. So we already developed the mental, the intellect, so that we were able to transmit by the family culture. We were able to transmit lots of capabilities to use the mind, to use the mental, to develop your abilities. And our lifestyle in family evolved. So we were trying to find a balance between the couple intimacy, the rhythm of a baby, of a newborn, always of a younger one, and the life of the children. Because they were over than three, they started to be a small society, a small group of children, and playing in the garden, or we were enjoying walks daily, going end of the day for a walk in the countryside, or soon with bikes. The elders had bicycles. And then we were also weekly enjoying to go or in orchard to pick up cherries when it was the time. We were buying the cherries in the orchard directly from the growers, or apples, or also we had the option to go to a local dam, so we could have a swim and enjoy the time together for a picnic. So we developed a kind of outdoor lifestyle, also with our garden and growing some food, some veggies, some peas or lettuce or others. And this lifestyle become a unique one, a familiar one. So that were quite different from other people, and started becoming difficult, hard with the families, pressures, and the administrative pressure of the educational system and social controls, and also the term of immunization, because we didn't immunizate our children and they were born at home. So I will speak about later. So we developed a kind of self-management of our life, and our plan, business plan, was to renovate and flip a house and then find a new potential in France to renovate again in a warmer climate. We wanted to go south of France, to do the same thing again and sell and start again living with the family. At that time, the plan was to find a potential to create a pedagogic farm, a farm open for children to discover animals or plants. It was the plan. But we never found the good option. There were no synchronicity. We found one, but it was not the time, or we didn't have the money. And one day, when my wife was pregnant of the sixth child, we met a therapist, and he spoke to us about New Caledonia. New Caledonia is a French territory in the Pacific island. And I spoke with my wife, and we said, why not change directly, go to a warmer tropical climate to make our dream come true. And that dream was to open at that time an ecotouristic center with the family. So run a family business to be able to involve all the children in it. And so we thought about that, and my wife received unexpectedly an inheritance of an uncle, so that we were able to purchase the plane ticket cash 9 months ahead. So at that time, when we had the tickets, we knew that we would leave the territory, the metropole. So that we were very excited and enthusiastic, and so that we finished the renovation and then put it in the market, find some clients, and sold everything we had in France, organized our move to New Caledonia with some package and stands and materials sent by ship there. And so that we organized everything, our luggages for the plane also. And the 15th of August 2005, we left France with our 6 children and my wife pregnant to open a new page in our family life, in our family journey, with this desire to live our dream to live close to nature, enjoy being together, and also welcome this abundance of the planet, this abundance of life, of air to breathe, of clean water to drink, because we didn't have any more in France. The water was very an issue for us. We didn't have good water to drink, and also left behind us the social pressure, the cultural pressure. Oh, you should have a work, you should make money. At the end, we were just surviving with the social aids. So it was quite a sacrifice. But we succeeded to leave a country, the continent of Europe, to go to a new continent and open this family adventure.